Hi, on the series of why traders lose money, I want to talk about something that most traders, especially newbies, overlook. Now, see, it is very important I state this because I've realized that many traders jump straight into live trading without validating their system. The system in this context means their strategy, without validating their strategy. And I've come to realize over many times observing people lose their capital is that without trading, which is backtesting your system, and demo trading, what that trader is just doing is trading hope and not statistics. Because trading is a game for me, a game that involves you either win or lose. It's a zero-sum game. When you lose, somebody is taking profit from you. When you gain, you are taking from somebody. When it is break-even, which I hardly see that as break-even, but break-even in a technical term is when the trader doesn't lose the money he anticipates to lose on that particular setup. But if you look at it microscopically, there is no break-even. Because even when you put your destiny on where your stop loss is on your entry, that particular opportunity that you could have extracted some capital from has gone. You have to wait for another one. Now, this does not mean that it should trigger you into FOMO, fear of missing out, and all those kind of scenarios in trading. No, it implies that as the trade is performing in your direction, three things are involved actually. One, you start by cutting, removing some portion out of it. That is if you entered with a huge position. That is first scenario. The second scenario would be you let it play out. Or the third scenario could be adding to that position and you move your stop loss even higher. Or if you don't even add to the position, a bonus is even, instead of keeping it at break even, move it a little bit higher. But the trap in that is, if you move your stop loss from the original stop loss position to a break even and price comes down to your entry, you are out. Now, why that is reasonable or good is that when it comes down to your entry, you don't lose technically your capital. You might pay commission, but you don't lose anything. Now, if it comes down to your entry and your stop loss is not your entry, which is the break even, and it goes below that, you stand a chance of losing your money. Now, if it goes higher, which is if you're in a buy position which you're anticipating more buys, and it goes higher, good for you because you did not put your stop loss on your break even, so you're still on the trade. But if your stop loss is not your break even and price goes lower and hits you on the stop loss where it has already made at least 0.5 arrow, which is half of your take profit, anticipated take profit, and you still want it to reach your 1 arrow, then it is a little bit not conservative. I don't want to make whoever is aggressive feel like you must trade my strategy, But so far as the position has gone 0.5% of my anticipated TP, I move the stop loss to break even. But that is by the way. Now, this is because of the kind of strategy I go into, like my type of strategy. I prefer not to give back to the market, no matter how little the market is expected to take. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a perfect world where I won't experience losses, but it means that I make sure I cut my losses to the barest minimum, as low as reasonably practicable. That is by the way. Now, back to what we were discussing on this particular segment is that most traders lose money because they only backtest and they don't forward test. I'll repeat that. Most traders lose money because they only backtest, they don't forward test. And like I told you when I started learning, the knowledge aspect took me a year. Now, not a year of repeating, a year of 1 week. Every week is a new module. Every week is a new module. By the weekend, you do your assessment and you're graded. Now, that 1 year is a period where I have to master a lot of things. It's one thing to have knowledge on something, it's another thing to master it. Now, mastery comes with practice, not by knowing it. Not, I've heard of this before. Comes with practice. That is, trading is a skill, not a certificate of participation. is a skill that shows that you did not just participate, you contributed, you have experienced, you had hands-on experience, not just visual experience where you're seeing it. That is the point. Now, after you have backtested, which is the 1 year was for me to gather enough of the knowledge and backtest during the 1 year. Then, like I told you, the other 6 months, which is the 18 months total program, was for me to forward test. Now, the forward testing is for me to do what, like I told you from the introduction. Many traders who jump into trading don't validate their system. So after I backtested in the 1 year program of learning the theory, checking how the theory has played in the past, then the 6 months was for me to forward test. And forward testing can only be done on a demo account. Well, thank God for new technology where TradingView now has for you to replay and then forward test, whereby you can replay a particular time on the chart, then see if your strategy gives you take profit where you use the replay bar. But that particular forward testing method removes the time factor from it. It gives you the outcome without the time factor, whereby you can see a whole 1 hour candle in 4 different times. Like for instance, if you're on 1 hour time frame, you can go as far as 10 hours ahead of time without spending 30 minutes, because that is the benefit of using the replay function. But the downside of that replay function is the time factor and the emotion attached to it. See, I can't overemphasize this. After you have back tested, the next thing to do is to forward test, which is demo trading. Okay? Now, if you've watched it to this point, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and give me feedback. I want to know what other things do you think makes traders lose their money on this very beautiful venture. Okay? Peace.